my biddies. How are you? Sorry about the extra 5 minutes or so. Was I was busy. And I didn't set my stuff up, which was silly, and I should have done that. Everything's good now. So one of our little biddies had a procedure today. Everything's fine. Actually, better than expected, or better than feared, I guess. It was quick. She's fine. She's home napping, so she's missing the show. I do have a reality roundup today. Woohoo! This is going to be seven little Johnstons. What am I doing? I got to do something. That's what I got to do. I got to edit real quick. Oops. Okay. Save. All right, we're good. So, how's everybody's yesterday? Mine was fine. It was nice out. For the most part. It wasn't nice, but it was not raining on me when I was out there most of the time. It's really raining now. Um, I didn't get even started until 11 yesterday anyway. I had a headache, probably from the pressure change from the weather. Seems like everybody in the family gets weather headaches. So that was fun. Oh, they switched things around. I don't think I like that. They switched some stuff around. It's very odd. I'm not sure I like it. That's okay. We'll all live. Um, yeah, they took off all the stuff from down here and put it up in the corner. And then they put stuff in one corner into the other corner. I don't know. I'm confused now. I am really confused now. I don't know how to act. Like all my stuff is gone. Like my stuff is gone. I wonder if I did it because I did just I had to refresh my page because I didn't have the mic plugged in when I set the initial or the initial, what do you call it? When I set the initial live, I did not have the mic plugged in, so I had to change the mic and can't figure out how to do that other than to refresh the page. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. It's okay. I'll live, I think, but I don't know what I'm doing, just so you know. Just so you know, I know. I don't know. I mean, there's a guy on here that gets all kinds of views, and the stuff he says is just dumb. And I don't understand it. Like, yeah, I don't. I say dumb stuff to be funny, but I don't think he's trying to be funny. It's weird. It's really weird. I don't even remember his name. It was something I saw on something else. They were commenting on it. Okay, so Seven Little Johnsons. This is episode 2. I forgot what season we're on, and I don't really care. Um, episode 2. These dresses ain't it. We open to the car. And they're driving to a tattoo artist for Emma to get a tattoo because it's her 20th birthday. So she's no longer a teenager, and they make some big deal out of that. Which, I mean, I've never done that or seen that. 21st birthdays are important. 18th birthdays. 20th, yeah, kind of just sitting there in the middle ish. It's not like your 13th birthday where you're no longer a child, you're an actual teenager. Anyway, Alex said, they couch Alex and Jonah. Alex says he wouldn't get a tattoo because he doesn't have a set idea for one, which is good because they are permanent and you should think about that really, really hard. Really hard. Jonah seems to be with Alex, and I say, just don't get one. Everybody has a tattoo anymore. If you don't get one, you're special. That's my take on it. You can get a tattoo if you want. I really don't care. I'm just saying, if you don't have them, when you're in the old folks' home, you're going to be special. Like those old tattoos have got to look terrible. Just saying. Do not get one on your stomach if you're a woman and you're planning to have kids. That's all I have to say about that. Not me. Not me. Friend of mine. Bryce wants Slayton's face from her ultrasound engraved. I kind of find that deeply disturbing. Like, why? Also, remember that this sets a precedent and you have to get all your kids' faces tattooed on you. So think about how many kids you're going to have, how many arms you have, because he was pointing to his arm when he did it. Liz says she's never getting tattoos on her arms, and Bryce suggests her butt, and she refuses to do that also. um, Amber asked Liz if she and Bryce would get matching tattoos, and she says hell no, because her Aunt Heidi got matching tattoos with her first husband, and that did not go well. So I don't know what that says about Liz. Could say something about Liz, but I'm not sure what it is. Then we lived through Amber and Trent getting their tattoos again because we already saw that. Why are you? Oh yeah, filler. Never mind. Trent brags that he took his better, but he got a tattoo on his arm, and Amber's is on her foot, and everyone knows too. The more it hurts, so I'll have to go with Amber on this one. But her grimacing in pain is really entertaining. But that's only because she's a horrible person. Only if it was a nice person, I would feel sorry for them, but I don't feel sorry for her because she's mean. Liz says she's gonna laugh if Emma passes out. Apparently, Emma is a fainter, and if you did not know, only 30% of the population are fainters, and I am definitely one of them. I have passed out twice. Um, once in pain, and I didn't know what was going on, and the other time was when I got my teeth pulled. I had 8 teeth pulled at once, and apparently my teeth roots are the only long, skinny part of my body because the rest of it definitely is not. And I got a hole in my sinus, which is not uncommon, but you can't like sneeze for a week. And I have issues with that. I managed. I managed to not sneeze for a week in the springtime, which is saying something, let me tell you. Did Mr. Rodney King riots? I was sleeping that weekend. So apparently, when Emma got her ears pierced, Amber was changing her earring and Emma passed out. Which the first time, I mean, I don't have earring, my holes have closed up because they never healed properly. I don't do well with metal, I guess, even the hypoallergenic stuff. Um, but I did get woozy the first time I changed my earring. So yeah, Emmy and I are similar. She says she doesn't remember, and Amber says that Jonah kind of got behind her and helped her lay her, leaned her against him. So luckily he was there at the time, so she wouldn't get hurt. I had no help either time. I passed out both times in the bathroom. It's a miracle I did not have a head injury. Meanwhile, the guys are at home setting up for Emma's birthday. And by setting up, I mean they put a tablecloth on the kitchen island and a table and put like items, 5 objects on the kitchen island. A cake, a few bottles that weren't even new. They were already opened. Like that's weird. You're having a party and you can't put fresh drinks out. One kind of looks like it's a gel of some sort, but I'm not sure that it was. It was weird. Some paper plates, some light up decor consisting of a 2 and a 0, and that's it. That's all they did. They forgot streamers, so obviously they went all out for Emma's birthday. They did get a bottle of booze and stick a note on it that says "Psych, one more year" because she's only 20 and not 21. They spelled psych, Sike, which bothers me to no end when people do that because that is not how that word is spelled. Um, I also don't understand how people that are so alcohol obsessed can punish a child endlessly for a minor alcohol related incident. See Anna and whoever she brought home that had been drinking. That was 20 or close enough to it that they served her in a restaurant where they should have carded people, but it's all Anna's fault. Alex thinks they did a pretty good job. I guess for the minimal effort ever, yeah, I suppose. You couldn't even run out and get streamers, dude. We arrive at the tattoo studio, and the artist says he wants to do something special that for that father-daughter relationship, and shows her the worst drawing of Trent ever. And underneath it, it said "Daddy's girl," and she's like, "Absolutely not, no way." Of course, she rejected. Sh she said she is not getting her dad's face on her ever. Noah describes the drawing as horrific, and I think that's pretty accurate. Liz says it's cringy. So, Emma wants to honor her homecoming with the year she arrived in the States to be adopted, which was 2010, and, a ladybug in honor of Leighton, as they call her Leighton bug, ladybug. Uh, Emma has been very fortunate, especially for a young person, uh, in that she has not required any surgery, so they don't know her pain tolerance levels. Clearly went into her safe space, and the rest of them just weren't comfortable with it. They didn't like that she wasn't making noise. She was just, they should have left her alone. She's, why can't they leave her alone? Honestly, she did great. I imagine she's a tattoo artist dream. She didn't flinch. She didn't move. She was great. She didn't talk. She just kind of went into her space and zoned. Then they point out that they want her to get a smiley face on her wonky toe. They point out the toe to the tattoo guy, and he does not seem to think it's funny at all. And they think it's weird that he doesn't think it's funny. I think he just doesn't want to pick on one of his customers. So, oh, where are my flicks? There we go. Tattoo artist. Good on him. Um, I like him. Her fourth toe on one foot is shorter than her fifth toe. My family, we have web toes. um, so I got on a side tangent and looked up web toes. And they are hereditary, unless you have another genetic issue, which we don't. Ours are definitely hereditary. Um, Apparently, well, Ashton Kutcher has semi-web toes. Um, and I have the same, except I have that on both feet, and it's not severe. His is not severe. Mine's very, very minimal, but it's noticeable, but not like it's definitely there, but it's I mean, if you looked at my feet real without really studying them, it wouldn't be obvious. Um, so Dan Aykroyd also has web feet, and his apparently on both feet, and they're just like my dad's. The second and third toe, it's always the second, almost always the second and third toe, all the way to the top. So my dad and Dan Aykroyd have something in common, and my sister has one foot like that, but not both feet. um, and I'm sure I picked on my sister, not to any like traumatizing of amount, but I'm sure I picked on my sister when she was little. But as adults, we do not pick on people because they have weird toes. My husband picks on me for my weird feet. Stop it. So Emma and the girls arrive home and they sing the happy birthday song really badly for Emma. For poor Emma has to listen to that. And then they say when Emma arrived, she was open and spunky, and they have taken that right out of that girl. And it's a shame she's not in college because she could maybe become that again, or maybe they have just ruined her. Poor kid. Liz has a speech and a special gift for Emma, and it's a bunch of pictures of them, none with Anna, and an invite to be a bridesmaid. Apparently, Emma did not want to be the maid of honor. She did not want that responsibility. And that's fair. She's 20 years old. She's in college. She's got lots going on. That's completely fair for her not to be the maid of honor. That's her choice. She was given the option, which is good. So then we go back to dress shopping. And dress one is a no. Second dress I thought was excellent. I thought it fit her better than any other dress that she wore, even the one she, but it was too sparkly. But she could have gotten a similar, I mean, she could have gotten the same outline of dress with a different fabric or something. The third dress was very princessy, and I kind of liked it, but I love a good poofy skirt. I don't wear them, but I like them. I like the idea of the poofy skirt. But she acknowledged straight away that Amber wouldn't like it. Now, why is Amber getting veto power? It's not her wedding. It's not her wedding. It's not her body. It's not her. It's not her decision to make what somebody else wears to their own wedding. It's crazy. If she liked the poofy skirt, why not have the poofy skirt? Who cares? It's beautiful. uh, and then she finds one. It's a mermaid style, which I find mad, but she likes it, and it's not my wedding. There are certain people that mermaid style looks good on. My daughter-in-law is one of them. When you get short and a little plump, mermaid style is not your style. It does not look good. My personal opinion. Oh, and then we go to the bedroom with Trent and Amber, and that's never a good time. She shows him a tramp stamp tattoo with his face and Big Daddy written underneath. Don't worry, it's temporary. And I'm so glad I have aphantasia, so I do not have to see that again. It won't haunt me later. Trent says it's awful, and he is not wrong. So after that, they're doing their pillow talk thing, and Amber says they need to get planning on the wedding right after their trip to San Diego, which I assume is a little person conference, and it was. Um, she's hiring an event planner. It's a backyard wedding with 100 people. I don't think you need a vet. I don't find that necessary. It's like a relatively small party in your backyard. I'd say save the money for catering. Save the money, use it for food. But as you can tell, I like food. So, going to pack for the conference, and Ashley's going on about Emma finding someone at the conference. Emma complains that everyone is more invested in the idea of her finding someone than she is. Maybe she doesn't need anyone. Maybe she's one of those people that are not relationship material, and that's fine. That's okay. They should leave her alone. It either happens or it doesn't. It doesn't matter. It's not that big a deal. Relationship after they both finish school. Ashley's finishing, like, I think it sounded like a semester before Jonah. So Jonah's saying it'll be next year, which is this year, before they decide. And they've been dating for 6 years already. Ashley says we've been dating for 6 years. I think it's serious or something to that effect. So Nana, as we know, is in hospice at a nursing home. Amber and Trent are making a care package for her. The cancer sounds like it's spread a lot, like a lot. And she's not getting treatment, which is her choice, and that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly reasonable at a certain age or a certain like kids that have had cancer more than once sometimes make that decision not to get treated, and that's okay. If you don't want to go through that again, that's okay. If you don't want to go through it as a 90-something-year-old, that's definitely okay. My age right now, if I got cancer, I would definitely treat it aggressively. I have grandkids, I wanna live. She is in a lot of pain, and they're trying to keep her comfortable. Um, they're kinda complaining that she's sleeping a lot, but, like, if I'm on pain medication, I sleep a lot. That's just how I deal with it. I don't like it, so I sleep. I would never do good on drugs because I would just sleep all the time. So Nana's favorite likes are chicken livers, beer, and scotch, and they're taking all of those to her. And apparently the alcohol use goes back quite a ways. Then we go to Liz and Bryce's place, and she's packing for the conference, which will be Bryce and Leighton's first one. They're taking a bed for Leighton. Like, why? Most places have cribs that they will let you use. Sometimes they even don't even charge for them. So why are you taking a bed? You do not need a bed for the baby. The baby will be fine. I've never had to do that for any of my kids. Just seems to me like more stuff to potentially lose, more stuff to keep track of, more stuff to haul them around. No, not doing it. Amazingly, they can still put everything into one suitcase, and I can't even do that with my husband. Of course, in my big suitcase, I have all of my clothes. I mean, if it's a weekend, yes. If it's more than 3 days, no. Because I have the sound machine, and I carry I put the bathroom bag in in mine, and I have to have an extra pair of shoes and blah 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 blah. But I have a decent sized suitcase. Sometimes I can fit his in, and sometimes I can't. uh, Liz is going to ask Carol and Darcy to be her bridesmaids, but that's no big surprise. I'm shocked she didn't have one of them be her maid of honor. And then Trent went to see Nana, and she's still a hoot. No one in the family will eat the chicken livers, and they are missing out. I'm telling you, chicken livers are good. Just ask my aunt; she makes banger chicken livers. Um, but that's more livers for Nana though. The next is morning day of travel, and Leighton is unhappy because, of course, because they dragged her out of bed at 4:30 a.m. Trent says he's happy to hold her. He'd be a fine dad and grandparent if he stopped following Amber's lead. And they kind of ended it there. Uh, so I'll have more. They're doing 2 episodes a week, 2 episodes every time. So it's ridiculous. And also I saw the Plaths were back. I still have to work on Sister Wives. Please save me now. Somebody do something. But I'm done with my big project. So the rest of the stuff for that will be fun. Okay. Delete. I don't keep these. I don't keep I mean, if I want to go back, I can go back to the transcript on these. All right. New new month. I just did these yesterday and I already had to sub one. Ridiculous. First we had Murder by Words, which will be all month. Murder by Words first. It is entitled Please Be Seated. This is from Stefan Molyneux. It says, ladies, you can't be drafted. Sit down when war is discussed. While we can't be drafted, we can serve. And also, my son is eligible for the draft, so you could shut up. The answer is men. You can't get pregnant, sit down when abortion is discussed. Well, I mean, if you want to go that way, yeah. The top comment is deleted for some reason by the user. Somebody says, I got better suggestions since there's just so many patriots in this country. How about we give them a chance to fight and die for the country? A vote goes out to every citizen asking if we should reinstate the draft, and everyone that said yes are the people that get drafted. I like that idea. Emily Empty Fisherman says, I like that idea. Hydrogen butterflies, this is literally the Ludlow Amendment. It's a semi-popular idea from the 1930s and almost passed. Except people like the idea of war more than they like personally participating in them. I hate the idea of war. Participate. I hate the idea of war. Second top rated comment is from Unknown Poltroon. For those that don't know, this Moliere guy is a wanging Nazi, like literally. Oh, that makes sense. Previous current thing says, it's funny. As much of a twat waffle as he is, the idea that this is a murder is a bit of a whoosh. Molyneux's tweet is satirizing the argument that pro-choice women make that men should stay out of abortion debates. It's like people who don't understand anti-vaxxers are using my body, my choice. Except for nobody is affected by my pregnancy, whereas I can be affected by your sickness. Parahelix answers the twat waffle and conservative men every themselves into the abortion issue, so it rings hollow when he says it. Exactly. Curly Toes says, but we still pay for wars as taxpayers. Clear up, true. That is true. We are paying for it. And also, I don't want my kids in it or my grandkids because God only knows how long this is going to be. This went. Now we're up in our what are we calling this? Our bad reviews. The 1-star review for Acadia National Park again. We're almost done with Acadia, by the way. It says from Robert from Garland, Texas, and he says, "Don't waste your time." We discovered that we needed reservations to even go up to Cadillac Mountain Road. Yes, because the parks fill up. Hello. But we're sort of confused as to why we had to pay $6. Because you have to pay to get into the parks? It's only $6? That was cheap, dude. That was only beginning. For some reason, Jordan Pond Restaurant was not taking reservations, which indicated a problem to me. Like, yeah, like they're full. I couldn't even find a parking place to even go to Jordan Pond because they were full, sir. There were no cruise ships at Bar Harbor, so not sure what happened. We did not return to Acadia anytime soon. This was July 16th of 2021 when everybody and their brother, I know that was 2020, never mind. Yeah, July 16th, people are on vacation, sir. It's the middle of summer and people want to go to the park, okay? That's why you need um reservations. And I'm sure that I think all the parks like charge money. At least all the parks I'm familiar with. Even Sleeping Bear Dune charges you money to go in. And it's literally a dune or 3. I didn't make it to the top, so I don't know. I have to get in shape to do that one, which I'm working on. I went for. Now it's too cold. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it is entitled Early 2000s Radio Contest. Whoever sends the most emails wins concert tickets. The AI written story about crashing their manager's email server reminded me of something that I did in the early 2000s. A local radio station launched a contest to give away tickets to a Britney Spears concert in LA. I had no interest in Britney Spears, but I had friends in LA that I wanted to see. Contest rules. Whoever sends the most emails to the DJ at the radio station over the weekend wins. I mean, it was the early days of the internet and things like this happened. Malicious compliance. I wrote a simple program that sent out a bunch of emails per second from my home computer and left it running. I don't remember the exact number of emails per second. To be fair, though, I was trying not to be so malicious that it crashed their email server because I wanted my emails to be counted so I could win. I remember from my logs that I sent many millions of emails while the contest was running. So it's probably close to 100 per second. That's too many. That's too many. You don't want to look. That's too many. I had a counter running and would include my counter in my email subject line, something like email contest submission number 15,323,726 Fallout. On Sunday afternoon, they announced on the radio that the contest was over early because their email server kept crashing and please stop sending emails. The DJ responded to one of my many, many emails asking me personally to stop. He told me that he didn't have the tools to delete so many emails and had to request special help from their ISP's IT department. He got in trouble with his manager, insinuating that I was a mean spirited person for automating something that was clearly meant to be handcrafted emails and for causing him so much trouble. He told me I came in second place. Looking back, I should have added a few more zeros at the number of emails I sent per second. Edit because it wasn't clear to some readers the guy who won the contest sent way more emails than I did by several orders of magnitude. In his email to me, he said there were three who flooded his inbox with millions of emails. They closed the contest early because it was already clear who would win. Well, they should have made it clear in the contest rules that it could not be automated. If they were obviously automated, they would not be counted. Night manager says, it's a top rated comment. Ow. It says, I had a friend in high school whose hobbies included mass mailings for contests back when it was all handwritten. I thought a bit of a joke until he won a full Alpine car stereo system with subs and amps. Then he won seventh row Van Halen tickets. He did well. Somebody answers that Wendy's was always giving away a car. Don't remember that at all. I never remember that. Maybe it was after I stopped watching commercials. My mom and I were going there fairly frequently since it was the nearest restaurant to where she worked and I had a summer job. I stuffed the entry box every time I went and she would drop an entry too. I had to use my sister's name since I didn't yet have a license. She ended up winning a car that she kept for at least 10 years. It was the sister that won the car. Cast Music is the second top rated comment, and they say, at the opposite experience in 1991, my college radio station had a late night heavy duty metal show like 2 a.m. The band Overkill was playing at a local club and they were giving away free tickets to the seventh caller. So I called and was told I was the first caller, hung up, and I was the second caller. By the third call, they gave me the tickets because obviously no one calling. It's awesome. Coder Joe says, I did something similar for my teen daughters. It was a contest by a popular band. I believe they do a free concert at the winning high school that sent the most emails. My simple script turned out thousands of emails for a few days, and my daughters excitedly reported that their school was so far ahead, no school could catch up. Fearing they'd be disqualified for cheating, we decided to shut down my script the day before the contest was over. As you can guess, another school shot out of nowhere to clinch the contest in the final hour. Oh, next week entitled The Sears Tower Just Lurking. And it will always be the Sears Tower, so stop. Don't you can be quiet. Looks like Chicago's having a storm. That's pretty cool though. Nira Soleil said this building is so evil it glares at you with its lights while wearing a crown. Neil Fellis Knight says still the Sears to me. Yep. Tundra Dragon says this is a single instance. It looks like Enderman Tower, but that's definitely the Sears Tower. Whitecap says it's almost amusing to see the reaction from Chicago people when call it the Willis Tower. I'd forgotten it was called the Willis Tower. It's a Sears Tower. And yes, I've been up in it. Not too long ago, actually. Just a few years ago. They have a window that hangs out out of the building that you can go in and see, you can look down. It's pretty cool. You should try it sometime. Highly recommend City Pass for stuff like that, by the way. If you're going to Chicago, City Pass is good. Seattle's City Pass was good. I haven't really used any of the other ones, but I was very, very pleased with. Actually, that's not true. My daughter used or looked into City Pass for New York, which would have been good if we were there longer. Don't go if you're just going to go for a weekend. Don't use it. But if you're going for a whole week, Highly recommend. Next is AITAH. It's entitled AITAH for not wanting to move into a house I'll never have any legal claim to. No, this says it's a hypothetical. I, 38 female, signed a prenup before marrying my husband, 42 male, because he has significant business assets and investment properties. The agreement says that anything purchased before or even during the marriage is separate property unless it is jointly titled. And even if something is jointly titled, ownership is strictly based on financial contribution. So if one person pays 90%, they own 90%. That sounds like a terrible deal for you. Why did you agree to that? If we divorce, he keeps everything that his separate property, and I would only receive a portion of my jointly owned assets based on what I financially contributed. That's what we agreed on, and I'm fine with that. You've done yourself a disservice, girl. In the event of death, it's different. Anything held jointly would 100% pass to me, but anything he owned separately would pass to his nephew. From what he said, his nephew would essentially control everything he owns as executor or trustee, and I also have no issue there. Now he's talking about buying his parents' house and having us move in to it as our family home. It would be purchased into a trust and structured as his separate property. If we divorce, I would not get the house or any equity, which I understand and accept under the prenup. Dude, no, absolutely not. Once you're married, if you own property, you own it jointly, 50-50. It doesn't matter. That's terrible. That's terrible. The problem, I asked what would happen to the house if he dies. He said our 10-month-old daughter would be the beneficiary and his nephew would be the trustee executor. So I wouldn't own the house, control it, or have guaranteed rights to remain there in the event of his death. See, I told you, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm struggling with the idea of building our family in a home that I'm structurally guaranteed not to have a long term claim to. I'm not trying to undo the prenup or take his family's property. I just feel uneasy about making our primary family home something I have zero legal protection in. AITAH. No. You're the a-hole to yourself for agreeing to that prenup. It sounds horrible. I didn't want, holy cow, I didn't expect this to gain so much traction. I posted it last night, even read through. I'll edit again later and provide some clarification on a few things. Edit too. I read most of the comments and got okay and got it. It's consensus. I'm the idiot, but not the a-hole. Here are the added details that should be addressed. Nephew, he does not automatically get everything. He would be the executor of my husband's will, not the sole beneficiary. Assets would be distributed based on whatever the will says. The issue is the will hasn't been updated since we got married. Well, that's an issue, and that needs to be fixed ASAP. So I actually don't know what the will say. For context, his nephew ran my husband's company for almost 2 years while he was overseas. So I think he should inherit a fair amount of business-related assets. Daughter. Our daughter will likely be named beneficiary to things. I just don't know what. The nephew being executor just means he would administer the estate, not that he personally inherits everything. Timeline. I know I'm going to get decimated for this, but whatever. We met in December 2023, both divorced, no kids. Ages 36 and 40, both wanted a family. Started to conceive March 2024, pregnant August 2024, signed prenup December 2024, married April 2025, baby born April 2025. I know that sounds wild, but we knew what we wanted and we went for it. Prenup. It's strict because we had only known each other for about a year. I did not go get independent counsel. My choice. Stupid. I genuinely did not want any business assets. Yes, but you're entitled to them. I was with my first husband for 10 years and I walked away from assets we built together because peace of mind mattered more to me than arguing over anything, and I don't regret that for a second. My financial situation, I have a decent paying job and solid retirement savings. I own one rental property and one rental property jointly held with husband, and one rental property jointly held with husband where I'd like 50, the first one's 50-50 and the second one's 25-75. Edit 3. Final clarification. I think a lot of people misunderstood my concern. I'm not concerned with the prenup and our assets being separate. My only concern is our family home. Whatever house we decide to settle into, and raise our daughter in. Could be his parents' house, could be any other house. If he dies before me, I think I should be the sole beneficiary of whatever home we're living in at that time. I'm not talking about or thinking about any other asset. So why doesn't he do a will that says that? Now. Do it now before it becomes an even bigger problem. Specialist Wild is top rated comment, and they say everything. Why is everything that he owns separately going to his nephew and not your child or any future children in NTA? Pilot Environment says this, answers this. OP, tell your husband very clearly you're not moving into a house that you have no legal claim to if something happens to him. You have a right to live in a home that you have some equity. You also have a right to feel like the house you live in is partly your home and you're not just a tenant in it. Moving into his family home, which he would mean own means it would never feel like your own house. You can make it feel like your house. It's just a house. It's got bones. That's all that matters. If it's got good bones, it's fine. You can change stuff. Sounds like they have plenty of money to redecorate, renovate, and redecorate. Edited tad by the word right. I'm talking about the fact that his partner, as the person who is supposed to be sharing this home with him and their child, it's her right to have to want some kind of equity in that home. Exactly. Particularly since the prenup makes it very clear she gets nothing if the marriage ends. So she has a right to want to live somewhere where she has a chance to build equity and to grow that investment. A moral right as his life partner. Yes, exactly. Dr. Demerit says, lawyer up, honey. You're headed for disaster. Yeah, I agree. McMurray says, unfortunately, what you signed benefits him and not you. You have no protection in this marriage, and this is not a good deal for you going forward. You really should have hired a separate lawyer to go over it with you. 100%. It's possible see now based on your post, this deal with the house does not benefit you in any way. Alien Overlord answers, I wonder if she could challenge it given that she literally had no advice and may have been bullied into signing it. Former Mirror says if she genuinely didn't have her own attorney, this would be unenforceable in my state. Yeah, and all the states different. I'm shocked that his lawyer didn't tell you to get a lawyer. That's ridiculous. Seems like malpractice, actually. User not found is the third top rated comment, and she says, or they say, yeah, I'm not sure if that's a guy or girl. NTA, this is crazy. He is giving everything to his nephew. He should at least have a separate trust fund for your daughter where you are the executor. He should have a trust fund for her, too. Also, if he is that wanging rich, why does it matter giving some of it to you? I hope at least his life insurance has you and your daughter as a primary and only beneficiaries. And if he's not that rich, you and your daughter definitely need some protection in case of his death. Your husband is penny wise and pounds foolish. They did say pounds. I would not say pounds. And worrying too much about you stealing his money, he is now risking you and your daughter's livelihood. He needs a damned reality check, and you guys both need couples therapy as well as couples financial counseling. 100%. That is some disgusting prenup. You must have really loved that idiot. Okie Pinoki says, it amazes me how many rich people have never even considered being generous to the people they care about. Yeah. Okay. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled Spite Fence. uh, bought a property in San Jose, California, standard 6-foot redwood fence on the property line between myself and the neighbor. There were 6 saplings planted on my side of the fence, growing rapidly and scratching my cars when using the driveway, so I cut them down. The neighbor lost her crap, claimed those saplings were hers, acted as her privacy screen, and was permitted by the previous owner. Ma'am, that is not how that works. I told her none of that mattered to me, my property, not hers. One weekend later, awoke to builders tearing down the standard 6-foot fence, which was in good condition. Is it on your side or her side? Later, heard an air compressor running and found that the installers had run an extension cord to my open garage to power it. Unplugged it. Thought about cutting off the male end, but didn't. Installers erected a 9-foot fence, phoned me afterwards wanting half the cost. Told him to pounce on. I've never been consulted or agreed to pay for any part of that fence. Pointed to them and her to the excellent Nolo press book covering neighbor law, specifically concerning spite fences. I wish my NFH experience ended there, but it got worse. Shaking my head. Oh, he continues. The third NFH involved a pepper tree in the way in the way back. Oh, in the way back area, in the far back, way back. We don't use way back for distances. We use that for time. Third neighbor from hell involved a pepper tree on the far back area of my backyard. There's nowhere on her property that she could even see the pepper tree. It's a fast growing tree such that the local electrical provider had to send out a team on an annual basis to keep the high volume voltage lines from being contacted. Also, during a storm, limbs on the pepper tree were damaging the redwood shakes on my garage roof, creating leaks. Was talking to the electrical guy, and I told him I wouldn't mind if they took out the entire pepper tree. They'd never have to come again, and I could repair my garage deal. That's good. Yeah, they can do that for you. On the day they showed up to remove the tree, she demanded that I obtain the consent of all the neighbors enjoying my property. No, that's not how that works. The electrical guy agreed, gave her directions to the city county offices that handled these complaints, noting the forms required. As soon as she sped off, the work commenced. By the time she returned, the tree and all the residue had been removed. Oh, that's good. Yeah, sure. Here's the paperwork for, getting that done. Yerp. Washington State Buckeye answers, nicely done. That guy would have gotten a beer from me. Knit Sanity says, a case at least. Earthman has the question I had. Is a 9-foot fence even legal there? There are usually ordinances regulating fence heights. Yes. My neighbors have a big fence that they put up. The neighbors before them, they didn't. The ones that are there now didn't. Um, big old 6-foot fence that they did not need to ask, but if it had been any higher, they would have had to have her permission and probably would have said no just for spite because they couldn't stand them. Zane Corey says, I would totally report that one. It would be great for her to have to pay to rip it out. Careful of what you wish says, I wouldn't. Frankly, it sounds like the taller fence, the better OP is. Not really. Shelter Ice says, unless he ever wants to sell and it doesn't meet code. Better now when he can prove that he didn't put it there. Sorry, bad HOA experience. Maybe not a thing. Oh, there's the second one I don't see. Several Honey says a lot of these agreements go out the window when somebody else moves in. Yes, agreed. Just Measurement says if she wants those trees so bad, she should check the property lines before throwing a fit. Can't just claim stuff because you are used to it. Yeah. We're going to go to his. Oh, here it is. The second uh, second neighbor from hell with her involved 2 eucalyptus trees on my property. Hey, how many trees do you have, dude? Seriously, near the property line. These are non-native species and had grown unattended until they were 45 to 50 feet tall. They were shredding sticky sap and large branches down on my vehicles during storms. With the previous incident in mind, waited until she was out of town for the weekend before having them removed. She again lost her crap, claiming she had permission from the previous owner to plant them on my side of the surveyed property line. This is not your property, ma'am. What the previous owners allowed you to do has nothing to do with the current owner. Again, told her to pound sand. Anything she negotiated with the previous owner has no impact on me. Living the Dream says, what a neighbor. Like you, I avoid having these trees on my property because their leaves root into maintenance. Why doesn't she plant trees on her own in her own freaking yard? So there you have it. All the issues are trees. Trees all the way down. Next, we have found Satan. It's entitled Interviews. Oops. Says I've been attending interviews just to turn them down, so I have a new kind of hobby. I apply to jobs and attend interviews with no intention of taking the jobs. For the past 4 months, I've been applying for jobs on Indeed. I make up the qualifications they ask for on paper. I'm the perfect candidate, but in reality, I don't really exist. Why do I do this? Well, I like dressing up, and it feels like a real sense of occasion. I get to have a nice day out, visit new places. I go to the barbers, get a clean shave, grab breakfast and coffee. I feel great and look great. That's a valid reason to do that. That's entirely valid, and I don't mind it. Chrissy says this helps the average employee a lot. Thank you for your service. Class is classic. It says, especially if you tell the employer that the compensation package is too low. And Endless Ball says, always say this. The second top rated comment is from whatever, it's fine. So they say, if companies can post ghost jobs, why can't this guy be a ghost candidate? 100%. Daddy says, why would they do that? And Ragnar Nivert says to give existing employees in the outside world the false impression that the company is doing better than it is, and or because if existing employees think they're on the cusp of being replaced, they'll be grateful for whatever level of exploitation they are currently subjected to. In practice, this doesn't work much, but it's the reasoning behind the specific scummy practice. Kick That Poo says, and also to collect resumes for future planned expansions. I know that recruits for one of the big tech companies, and when they have a new job posted, they're given a file of resumes for people that already applied a year or more ago. Usually hundreds to thousands of applicants. It's tech roles for remote work. The actual job always pays less than what the listing said that people applied for, and they just pick the qualified candidate that are still out of work a year later. Since they're desperate for work, they accept the lower pay. That is horrible. They should not be able to do that. Now we have our title post from Just No Mother-in-Law, Just No Mel. Mill threw a party while I was in a coma. See, I'm torn on this. Like, does life stop because you're in a coma? How long were you in a coma, et cetera, et cetera? Okay, this happened in November of 2024, but I'm still holding a grudge because things haven't gotten any better with my mother-in-law. This is the worst thing she's ever done to me. Maybe the worst thing anyone has done to me. I was in a coma for 3 days. Okay, you may have a valid reason. And she has a huge birthday party for her mom at her house with a bunch of out-of-state family. Okay, now this sounds like it was pre-planned. It lasted 2 days. If you were in a coma for 3 days and your mother-in-law had a party with a bunch of out-of-state family, that indicates to me this was a pre-planned party. Did she put you in the coma, ma'am? My husband needed someone to watch our son so he could bring some stuff after I woke up. I didn't even have my phone. Mel thought I was contagious, so she told everyone not to go visit me or watch my son. Most of them were sleeping at her house, and she said she'd kick them out if they went near me or my son. My son was a year old, by the way. So my husband had to trust someone he hadn't known very long to watch our son while he spent 1 hour with me. Kids are not allowed in the ICU. That has not been my experience. No one thought to tell my parents I was in the hospital on life support after a bad asthma attack where my lungs filled with fluid and caused me to go into respiratory failure. I'm so sorry. I don't think this party is a problem. It does not sound like something that was not planned in you have a husband problem, not a mother-in-law problem. If your husband did not immediately call your parents. Like my daughter had her procedure today. My son-in-law, as soon as she was out, texted me, well, not as soon as she was out, but after they were at lunch, texted me and said, "Hey, by the way, she's out. We're eating, and then we're gonna go home." Like it wasn't immediate, but he did let me know that everything was fine, which there were worries. If my daughter was in a coma and my son-in-law did not tell me, there would be hell to pay, and I think he knows that. If my son's wife or my other son's girlfriend was in a coma, I would take it upon myself to call her parents if he couldn't get to it. So- And these are, I don't know them as well. I mean, if it was my son-in-law, it would be like automatic because I know both of his parents very well, fairly well. Um, one of them I can't, I, the girls, one of them I can't stand, and the other one I just don't know well because they live far away and we just don't. I like them fine from the few times we've met up, but yeah. So I would, oh, the way I would tear into my mother-in-law, my husband, for not telling my parents I was sick. Mm, okay, I was a few minutes away from dying, doctor said. So after I woke up with a tube down my throat and my hands strapped to the bed, I had to spend almost 24 hours alone in the ICU, unable to speak that night because of the steroids they kept me on. I kept having panic attacks because I wanted my husband there. My emotions and thoughts were all out of whack from all the drugs that keep you in a coma. It was one of the top 5 worst experiences of my life. I can imagine that. Also, life doesn't stop because you're in the hospital. If this was a pre-planned party, and I don't see how it could not have been, this is life, dude. Calm down. Now, your husband should have been there. He should have missed the party if that was where he was at. Why did he not call your parents to come get the kid? Because the kid should have been with your parents or your sister or somebody. My parents didn't know I was at the hospital until I called them. They came the next morning because they live in the next state over. Okay, that explains why you didn't call the parents right away, but still, call the parents so they can get there. I was discharged a few hours after they got there. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law did not care at all. They didn't even talk to me when they saw me afterwards. Didn't ask how I was, acted like it didn't happen. Well, maybe he didn't tell anybody else either. I got this frustrating grudge ever since. My husband would go no contact with me. My husband would though no contact with me. He forgave them right away. Said it was a misunderstanding. The doctor said it was a different virus that is actually contagious when really all I had was just a cold. Well, okay, you had a cold, you were contagious. Like I almost died, but it's okay because your wangy mom had a misunderstanding. Yes. My husband's entire family was partying while I was in a coma having a machine breathe for me, and I'm supposed to just get over it. Like, no way these people didn't give a wang about me, then this proves it. You sound horrible. I feel like, who cares if I was contagious? My asthma obviously isn't contagious, and that's what caused the respiratory failure. Oh, well, your asthma combined with your illness. I was a near death experience, and no one was there for me. My other sister in law and her family who live out of state came while I was still in coma to see me, but obviously I don't remember. So, why? Yeah, you're. My God, this girl. Honey, did you ever think that you're the problem? A normal person would have been able to cough up the fluid in their lungs from a regular cold. I don't know why my body decided to try and kill me instead. I want to get past the resentment I have for my in laws, but my mother in law did something else crappy a few days ago, which I just posted about on this thread earlier. So all the feelings got brought back up. I was also upset by my husband who didn't stand up for me. He forgave them real quick and stated getting mad at me because I couldn't get past it soon enough for his liking. I went no contact for almost a year, but my husband continued to bring our son over for family dinners a couple of times a month, and that's okay. That's his right. That's his right, and that's his privilege. It's his kid too. I hope one day I can stop feeling so hurt, but I'll never forgive. Well, that's dumb. Sorry for the trauma dump I needed to rent and van. Cracker Sucker says this is a huge betrayal. On the husband's part, yes. Your husband never thought to call your family. He didn't skip the family events to be with you in case you woke up. There was no family member that could watch your kid and skip the party or take shifts. I couldn't get over this either. My not so dear husband would be in therapy with me to go over all the areas he let you down. Second top rated comment. I can understand being mad at your mother in law, but I don't see how she prevented your husband from calling your family on your behalf. That's the bare minimum for a married partner. Exactly. Almost says you have a major husband problem. Why didn't he call your family? I'm not one to jump to divorce, but he doesn't seem to have your back in any way, shape, or form. There's no way mother in law would be seeing the kids either. You don't know what BS she is saying in front of little ears that DH is letting slide. Move in the shadows, get all your evidence together, and get away from this toxic family. None of them have your back. Yeah, I wonder. I don't see another. Oh, lack of boundaries. Okay, we didn't read this one. So this is her other post. My husband and I have been going through a family emergency crisis this past week, and my mother-in-law has been helping us out with childcare for our son. But you're no contact with her. She knows all about what's going on and is trying to help my husband and her son as much as she can. I plan to take my son away with my parents this weekend, and I was going to tell them what's going on in person. However, the day before I was going to go there, my mother-in-law called my parents and told them everything. She just went behind my back, didn't ask me if that was okay or anything. Yeah, that's not right. She shouldn't have done that. I agree with that. I got pissed when she told me that she had told them. This is like my family's private business, and we're not telling anyone except for a few close family friends. I've always had a rocky relationship with my parents, and they've always disliked my husband. It sounds like for reasons, maybe. I'm worried they're going to think the worst and dislike him more now. So this is probably why the husband didn't call the in-laws, because the in-laws don't like him. If they don't like him and they're not trying to have a relationship with him anyway, that is their loss. I don't blame him. Um, I'm also worried I'll lose them from my life. My mother-in-law knows all about my relationship with my parents, and am I overreacting, getting pissed at her for telling them my business without asking me if it was okay first? I wanted to be the one to tell him it's not my mother-in-law's info to share. She always has issues with respecting boundaries. Also, her memory is getting worse. She's getting older, 75. So who knows if what she told them was accurate. I had to postpone my visit to the next weekend because I got sick. um, my was I parents haven't mentioned that they know what's going on. My mother-in-law has never told my parents. My husband and I private business before, so I wasn't expecting it. She probably wanted to get ahead of it. You know, the first story you hear is usually the one that you're going to believe most. That's what the problem with MAGA is. They hear something that's not true and they cannot not believe it after that. Um, is it wrong of me to have wanted her to ask me before telling them? She didn't even tell my parents when I was in a coma for a few days the year before last. Another time she was wrong. She was having a big party during that time. Yeah, blah blah blah. Okay. Next we have Petty Revenge, and it is entitled Two Parking Spots Guy. One time many years ago, my coworker friend and I met up at the mall after work for some time together. We noticed a fancy Jeep taking up two prime spots, and my friend and I had time, so we decided to play a game. I parked my smart car in the lot to the left, perfectly in the lines, and within the Jeep's location. And with the Jeep's location, my car stopped them from entering their car on the driver's side. Then I hopped in my friend's car across the lot and we waited. We wanted to witness our petty revenge first. It would have been simple, haha, because they all had to do was crawl from the passenger side. But after we get comfy her in her car, it gets better immediately. Someone sees what I did and copies the right spot. Now this Jeep person has no way to enter their vehicle from the back hatch. Fast forward a few, and the perpetrator and his girlfriend come out. They walk around for a few minutes, just throwing their arms like, what did we do now? I've seen people do this. It's funny. Like, why do people do that? It's weird. But everybody does it when they're like up in arms is a thing. Up in arms is a phrase for a reason. Um, Eventually, the bald beefcake boyfriend makes his circa 2001 girlfriend crawl through the back hatch in her pink miniskirt to back it out. 1010 worth the wait. Oh. FRX Cowgirl says, well played. Tight shift answers. Only thing better would be to video the entire incident and post it online. Oh. Dot Affectionate says, almost as bad as when they park just inside or on the line. So they have more space to get out of the driver's side. So technically only one space is used, but a PETA for the person parking beside them. I don't know why they keep saying PIA. It's PETA. It's pain in the, not pain in I live in a townhouse complex. It's not in a nice. Oh, this is Epijade. Sorry. And this is an answer to the uh previous comment. I live in a townhouse complex in a nice area that's pretty expensive, and each unit owns their own parking spots, but the spots are not necessarily right outside their doors. Some of the townhouses are rentals, and some are owner occupied. The one next to me is a rental. We have prime spots. No one on one side, so we can use our spot as a loading zone. Both spots, but right up to our front yard. New tenants move into the unit next to us, and he, of course, has a giant winging truck. It's not a work type truck. It's a truck for the type of guy that thinks a giant truck makes him look manly. The kind you need to step into. It barely fits in the lines, and he's not exactly looking at the parking. One day he sees me outside and tries to sweet talk me into say, why don't we trade spots? If I could park in that spot with no one next to it, then I wouldn't have to worry about parking. I'm a small woman. This kind of dude is obviously the type that is used to little ladies just doing whatever he wants. I told him no. I'm sorry. Maybe when you rent a place and insist on having your blue collar working man cosplay toy, you should pick up a place that can accommodate that. The rent on the place isn't cheap, so it's not like they wouldn't have been able to find something. Yeah, like just because you bought please learn how to park your giant little toy, your compensation toy, as I like to call it. Dinah Dog says, I park in a compact space with my compact car next to a cement wall, giving me plenty of room to exit the car on the left. When I came back for my lunch date, there was a Cadillac Escalade in the compact space next to me. Like half his car was sticking out up the back of the spot, right up to my driver's side. I had to crawl through the rear hatch to get to the front, not too proud, but as I backed out, I only I used my house key all the way along his passenger side. Never before, never since. But on that day, I don't know what came over me. NFL Crunch Times answers, you normally do not wang with a person's automobile, but this seems like a fair exception. This blasted thing answered, I park in a parking garage where I had and a parking spot just enough space on the driver's side that it would fit a small vehicle. It wasn't a designated parking spot. A cargo service van parked into the space, maybe temporarily. I had to exit out of the back. I'm guessing I had to get in through the passenger side. As I backed out of this place, I poked a few holes in the sidewall of the tire. I don't know what came over me, but it felt good. These are the things that need to go in confessions for sure. Third top rated comment is I carry zip ties and I use them to attach shopping carts to cars like that. I've heard of that being done too. But sometimes it's not the person's fault. It's the person. You can come up to a parking badly, but it's because the person who was parked next to that person was parked badly. So don't get too upset about some things. Make sure it's reasonable. Like if you're in the middle of the lines, yeah, for sure. This is from Am I the Jerk and is entitled AITJ for reporting my brother's passport stolen 48 hours before his destination wedding because he took my dog's surgery money. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't care what he did. That's oh. I 27 male have a 5-year-old dog who needed $4,000 surgery on his hips. I kept the cash in a lockbox in my closet because I was taking it to the vet this week. My older brother, 30 male, is getting married in Mexico this Saturday. He has my spare apartment key for emergencies. He kept complaining all months about his fiance wanting expensive upgrades for the reception and how broke they are. Well, if the reception is that weekend, they are not getting any upgrades. So I don't see what the problem is. I went to get the money yesterday and the box was pried open and empty. So that's when you call the police. You don't take his passport from him. You call the police and order and say, um, somebody broke into my house. I checked my living room camera and saw my brother walking out with the cash stuffed in his jacket. I called him and he basically confessed immediately, but said it was just a loan and that his future wife's happiness is more important than a dog right now. That's wrong. That's wrong. He promised to pay me back next year. I was seeing red. I didn't even yell at him. I just logged on to the government portal and reported his passport lost and stolen. Then took the video footage straight to the police to file a theft report. Well, yeah, but if you're doing that, you're also committing fraud, wire fraud. This morning, he tried to check in for his flight in the airport and got pulled aside. His passport is flagged and invalid, and he can't leave the country. That's just rude, man. Everybody sucks here. Everybody sucks here. The entire wedding in Mexico is ruined, and his fiance is threatening to call it off completely. My parents are absolutely losing their minds at me saying I destroyed my brother's life over an animal and that I should really have just waited until the wedding or to sort out the money. They want me to drop the charges, but I refuse. AITJ, you're the asshole for reporting his passport 100%. 100% you're the a-hole for that. You're the jerk for that. Um, you should have gotten, you should not have done that and just gone to the police. They will take care of it. They will take care of it. So you suck too. You both do. What kind of people did your parents raise? Because they're bad parents. Serious ad is a top rated comment. It says you reap what you sow in this life. NTJ, no way you're wrong in this. She is. You did what was best. You worked hard to save it, and he's actually entitled. Uh, if it means taking a break from family, then so do it. Frequent Leopard says NTJ. I also want to point out that your dog still needs surgery. None of the people telling you to drop it and wait are offering to cover the $4,000 your brother stole. They just want consequences to go away while your dog goes without care. Drop the charges when the money is back in your hand. Don't drop the charges at all. Juno says the parents are upset that the wedding is ruined, but not that their son broke into an apartment and stole surgery money. Interesting order of priorities there. Yes, 100%. External fisherman NTJ. He did not borrow the money. He took it. There have to be consequences for that. If the wedding falls apart, it's on him, not you. I still think you're going to be just as much in trouble. Sierra Lynn says NTJ, while reporting the passport was a nuclear option that permanently scorched the earth, it was a direct consequence of him using his money to burglarize his own sibling. No, not. That is not a direct consequence. Him being in jail that was not her right to do that. Your parents are essentially asking you to subsidize his wedding with your dog's surgery fund, and waiting until after the wedding is just code for giving him time to spend the money, so you'll never see a dime of it again. I think everybody sucks here. Everybody's on her side, but she's just as bad as her brother, in my opinion. Two wrongs do not make it right. It's not getting her money back. It's not gonna get her money back because now they paid for a wedding that didn't happen. So they're gonna have to pay for another wedding. Why weren't you going to the wedding? Hmm, curious. And why does your brother have a key to your house? Why did why does your brother have a key to your house when he's acting like this? Next, we have entitled people, and it is entitled Neighbor tried to kick me out of visitor parking on my land. I recently bought a house in the UK. It has garages to park in and has parking spaces behind the house, some of which are assigned parking for neighbors and some of which are visitor parking, two of which are within my land boundaries. Okay. I've not moved in yet, but I've been going frequently to drop things off. I noticed that often there are people in the visitor parking, which I wasn't too worried about, as I was still able to find somewhere to park and wasn't staying long. I am so confused. On Sunday, I was there with family and friends all day to get some painting done, so I parked in the free visitor space. It's a pain getting from the garage since it's quite small. Just after lunch, the doorbell rings. The lady doesn't say hi, doesn't introduce herself, goes straight into how I'm parked in her spot, and she wants to park there. The housing association she pays told her it was her spot, even though it says visitor. Ma'am, are you sure about that? We told her in no uncertain terms that the visitor spots are on my land, so it definitely doesn't belong to her. I have every right to park there. I will be using the garage garages mostly and don't intend on kicking people out of the visitor spots so long as no one's trying to kick me out. They accepted and left. Luckily, they're moving away in a few weeks, so I won't have to deal with them for long. I'm not sure why she was making a big fuss about the parking spot she won't be using in a few weeks. A short while later, another neighbor who I was already friendly with flagged down my friend who was there with us, letting us know that the lady who rung the doorbell is hated by the other neighbors and apologizing since the lady rang their doorbell first to see whose car it was. I phoned the housing association and she mentioned that they basically confirmed she was lying. They have nothing to do with parking. We think she must have done this to the tenants who used to live there, bullying them out of using those spaces and thought she could do the same to me. Edit, just to clarify what some people have asked about parking on my land, there's a legal right of way that has existed since the development was built that says private freeholders are able to park in visitor parking anywhere on the estate. I likely wouldn't have a right to prevent other people using them, but this neighbor definitely can't prevent other people using them. Technically, she still isn't a private freeholder. She wouldn't be able to use them herself. Okay, I think he explained everything that people are asking about. This signs with a story. It's entitled, I Wonder What Happened Here. Due to horrific experiences, we no longer have a public restroom. And what happened in your restroom? I mean, I can think of all kinds of stuff from really, really bad stuff to just funny stuff. First top rated comment is just a meme, and I'm not showing it because it's gross. We're okay there. Second top rated comment is from Pleasant Expert, and it says, "Have you seen Clerks? Who the wang is in our bathroom?" And the third top rated comment is, "Someone pooed on the ceiling. Source had to clean poof off the ceiling and give someone Narcan in the same week, not same day, not at that place. That door stays locked now." Next, we have expectation versus reality, and it is called Angel Hair Chocolate. It looks like it's one of those Dubai chocolate things or something similar. It's famous angel hair pistachio with Turkish cotton candy, milk filled chocolate filled with pistachio cream and Turkish cotton candy. And it looks like hair, essentially, with the pistachio layer, not level, layer, and covered in chocolate. That's what you should have expected to get, honestly. It's the Dubai chocolate thing. That's literally what you should have expected. Never mind Photoshop, the clearly AI photo in the advertisement. It's clearly AI. El Choro Loco says, "LOL, the packaging is gross." And yeah, Hey Gorgeous says, "Looks like the cover of Goosebumps book." My little wish says, "Oh my god, it does," and it feels like bar doesn't initially sound like a terrible idea, but I'm just not sure there's no way to make it not look nasty. Pleasant Light says asbestos, and that's kind of what the Dubai chocolate stuff looks like sometimes. OP says closed fiberglass and mold. Uh, Pamela reads a lot. Says my heart hurts for your parents. $20 is insane for chocolate filled with insulin for my attic. All right, next we have our little spiel segment, of course. Um, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell the nurses, tell the doctors, tell the anesthesiologist. We have a theme today. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email to today's current live, please also send us an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and the address is in the description below. Duggar update. They are FOIA-ing Jokin, as we call them. Jokin is joke. Uh, oh shoot, now I can't remember her name. Joe and oh, what's her name? His wife. Joe and his wife's phone calls, because apparently phone calls to and from jail are not privileged, and anybody can listen to them. So I have been watching Hidden True Crime on YouTube. So look up Hidden True Crime. And last night I listened to all of the email. It's just all of the email, all of the phone calls. Sorry, phone calls. All of the phone calls from beginning to end that they have made, that they made while he was in jail in Arkansas. He's now back in Arkansas. There won't be any um, phone calls unless they mess up. Um, I would be concerned that she actually was with the kids, because I heard kids in the background on one of the phone calls. It could be an in-law or something. She went on and on about how wonderful his parents have been. I think her parents might be a little upset. All right. Our real estate section, and it says, "Can someone explain why this entrance needs a staircase?" Okay. This is in Spring Forest, or oh no, Spring. Oh, it's just Spring, Texas. Um, so we shall see. Shall we see? It's a cute little house. It's got a nice staircase going upstairs. Looks like it might be a bi-level, maybe. I'm not sure. The windows seem kind of low to me. It's beautiful. Oh, why would you do that? I think it's bi-level. I think that's why. I don't know why it has to go upstairs. Well, you know what? No, I guess it doesn't. Yeah, this is weird. You go up the stairs to go down the stairs. I would hate this. I would hate this. Hate it, hate, 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 hate. Let's see if it's an otherwise nice house, though. Lots of space up here. I would like that. Dining area, kitchen, living area. It's a fairly small house. It's only 2,100 square feet. It's $550,000. Says it's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, but so the bedrooms are probably pretty small. Living space is kind of small. Why do you have no table and chairs in here? Go back. Yeah, why do you have an extra table and chairs in the living room? That's weird. Is it a holiday? You sent them extra? That's very strange to me. Your white kitchen. Yeah. Yeah. I swear I'm gonna make a GIF out of that monkey gagging. I showed the little ones. They thought it was funny. I mean, it's normal. It's a kitchen. I have a dining area, so I don't understand the extra table and chairs in the living room. I mean, it's not a big dining area, but it's a dining area. Bedrooms, yeah, pretty small. Nice enough backyard for Texas, I guess. Decent bathroom. Not too bad. Don't know where this is. Is this about downstairs? Where's this? No bad angles. I mean, it's big enough to have a pool table in it. No windows, so I assume this is downstairs since there's no windows at all. They have a Pac-Man game. Then we go upstairs to another sitting area. Bedroom with bunk beds. Fairly small looking bedroom, to be honest. Normal bathroom. I don't mind this tile on here. That's kind of nice, actually. Maybe I'll make my husband do that in our bathroom. Closet. Oh, bedroom in the attic. No, 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 no. No. This is a tiny, tiny bedroom. This can hardly be called a bedroom. This is not a bedroom. This is a. There's no exit from this room. There's no secondary exit from this room. That can't be a bedroom. At least not in Michigan, it can't. There's your washer and dryer out in the open. Bathroom. Hole in the living room. I'm just kidding. I still don't understand the table and chair in the living room. It's just weird. Nearly the whole backyard is patio and deck. So I don't know if I like that. The patio right outside the bedroom, I don't like that. I would want that to be in a more private space. Personally, I would want it to be back in a private space. Okay, located just minutes from Woodland's top destinations. Fully furnished, so it comes with all the furniture. I'd be getting rid of a table and chairs. It'd be nice to have the pool table. 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath home. Spacious layout. It's not a bad house. Multiple areas, including the game room. An outdoor putt-putt space. I did not see that. And a speakeasy style lounge. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2 full baths, 1 half bath. And I still say it's only a 3 bedroom because that bedroom did not have an escape. Where I live, you have to have a secondary way to leave the bedroom. So we can't put. You can put a bedroom in the basement, but unless it has a window escape, it cannot be called a bedroom. in a, legally on a real estate thing like this. Has a family and utility room supposedly. Natural gas heat, ceiling fans. Doesn't say anything about air conditioning. Yeah, Texas, you're better be giving me the air, man. Energy Star appliances, disposal refrigerator, washer, convection oven. They have a lot of stuff in their little house. Little. I mean, it's bigger than my house, but I also have a basement. Wet bar, 3 bedrooms, up, primary on first floor. Um, has a gas fireplace. 2,112 square feet. 2 parking spaces with an detached garage. Oh, maybe that's where that is. Smallish lot. Split level. I still don't know why it goes up and then goes back down. It's weird. It does have an HOA. It has a basketball court, clubhouse, a dog park, a jogging path, picnic area, pool, playground, pond, pool. Has security, splash pad. It has lots of stuff: sport court and tennis courts and trails. It had it for rent. I guess it didn't rent out. Bought it in 2025. In October of 2025. So October of last year, they were asking 369 for it, and now they're asking 550,000. Why? It was pending. Somebody wanted it. Why didn't they sell it? That's crazy pants. I want to know the history on that. See what the taxes are. We always gotta check our taxes. Only $752 a year. Holy cow, that's cheap. Sign me up. But I'm only paying the 369 for it. Mm. What this is. I have another. It's the same. I don't know why they have the, like, 3 times they have the link to the thing. Panthers champ says not enough room for the stairs going up to the second floor. Yeah, but you could turn the stairs, which is what Fishgo Blub says. It was my thought too. You could turn the stairs for the second floor 90 degrees and move the front door over. But you'd lose that window in the area they're using as a dining nook, although that's pretty bizarre staging. See, I'm not the only one who thinks that. Call me Dansley says there's already a dining room too. It's just weird. I agree. Suspicious Quail says agree, and the window could have been added where the door is if more light was needed. It is a strange layout. 100%. Solo Fork says, nah, mother-in-law uses a wheelchair. That's what happened. I say they're just kidding, but it's still funny. Exploiter says it's essentially a split level, but instead of going to the basement, the split goes to the main living area. I get the reasoning. It looks a little weird, but it frees up a lot of floor space by effectively moving half stairs, half the stairs outside. Clarinet says, does it though? Because there are still stairs going down in the lower level and to the upper level. It just frees up the space where the door would otherwise go. You didn't move half the stairs outside, you duplicated the lower half of them. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. It's weird. Okay, this is not safe for work, so get the kitties out of the yard, out the house, away from the sound. It's from Confession. It's entitled, I Once self-pleasured, shall we say, from the top of a tree in a forest. When I was back in my more athletic days, I had zero problem climbing trees. I used to climb trees as a kid all the time. I used to get really high too, and I would do everything in one, read, and even sleep in one once. Oh, I read in a tree lot, a lot. It was my favorite place to read. One day the feeling was right, and I decided to rub one out from the tree to the tall grass below. Nobody saw. I reflect fondly on that day. It must have been how cottonwood trees feel in winter. Now, if I try to climb a tree, I'd flop and not get off the ground. Vintage UK says, "Is this what a lumberjack actually is?" I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. And of course, Cameron's the names. Okay, Wrangler answers, "I sleep all night and I work all day." I'm not saying the rest of the song. Oh, that's one of my favorite songs because I'm weird. Clint Powerful says it totally recontextualized the time I went for a hike and thought I was reading yogurt. Ocio Leo, and this has a typo. I would have assumed it was beard poop, and I got Lucy. Uh, National Breakfast says Lucky Lucy was Lucky Girl. Sucky Panther says if a nut gets busted from the top of a tree in the forest and no one is there to see it, does the nut really get busted? Oh, that was funny. Next, we have interesting AF. I'm glad I didn't skip it because it was inappropriate, but it was inappropriate in a funny way. This is from Interesting AF, and it's called "The Eye of the Moon," a stunning in-camera double exposure by Zach Cooley at Archer's National Park in Utah. Double exposure means it was kind of faked, but it looked cool. The Eye of Sauron. Do you think anybody's going to say the Eye of Sauron? Let's find out. Okay, Jackfruit says amazing, but wait, does the in-camera double exposure mean that this didn't happen? It was just images laid on top of one another. Permanent Ephraim sees correct. It would be impressive on film, not a big deal on digital. Certainly creative and makes a neat image. And somebody says ugh. I don't know why. Yeah, they're not liking that as layered. Here is a higher resolution, less cropped version. I don't think it's any different. It doesn't look that to me. It says Eye of Sauron, and I don't understand why. Oh, here's a cool one. This is what it actually looks like. Because the moon is very far away, very much farther away. I'm glad we had that one. Thank you to the snake tickler. What do you tickle snakes for? All right, next we have Emma the A-hole, and it is entitled AITA, being cruel for telling my daughter that she will need to help pay back the money that I spent on her wedding. Probably. My daughter was supposed to get married 4 months ago. I learned this week that the wedding is off. Oh, in about 4 months. I learned this week that the wedding is off and it has been off for about a month now, and I just learned about it. Okay, that's a different story. I thought it was a wedding that already happened, then they would be. In short, he learned that my daughter was cheating on him early into the relationship and called it off. I personally have given her money for the wedding under some conditions. It was not a gift. The main condition was to have a venue that was accessible for people with disabilities, so I put down the money for the venue. Anyways, the wedding is canceled and the venue doesn't give refunds. Well, it's 4 months. If it was longer than 4 months, she might. If it was longer than 6 months, actually, they will usually refund you, but yeah, that's way too, way too close to the wedding to be canceling it. Or you can just have a party. I'm sure you can come some excuse for a party. She already told them that she will not need the time slot and nothing will happen that day. I still need to pay the venue. They are not giving me any money back and are holding the price. I called her and told her that I need help to pay the venue since that wedding won't happen and I need her to pay me back some. We had a huge argument. She called me cruel for doing this. I pointed out the wedding would have happened if she didn't cheat on the man and that this wasn't a gift at all. She's pissed and I'm out 10K. Wow, that's a lot of money. Gail Knit says, I would consult some laws in your state and the contract that you sign. Most venues do not require payment in full after cancellation, but will not refund deposits. Yeah, exactly. It is unlikely that you should have to finish paying the venue. Regardless of that, NTA, she didn't cause the demise in the relationship, costing you a significant sum of money. Exactly. Uh, Talk says it's weird he put down a deposit but still has to pay the full amount even though it's canceled. Isn't that the entire point of deposit? Well, you get your deposit back if the wedding is canceled until a certain time, and then you don't. And then you're responsible for it. And 4 months is really close to the wedding. To get somebody in there that's going to take it over in 4 months, that might not be doable. Worldly Throwaway says, I'm a woman. Weirdly, everyone's assuming I'm a man. Men tend to pay for weddings. The way the venue works is that it had to be paid in full by the wedding date. It is in the contract. Most people just take out a loan and pay it at once. Multiple venues we looked at had this policy and didn't do payment plans after the wedding date. It's almost paid in full. Well, yeah, but there still should be, like, the reason you pay a deposit is to keep the date. And if you paid part of it already and now it's canceled, you should not. It depends on the timing, honestly. um Everyone defaults male, even if you say otherwise. It's annoying. You're NTA, by the way. Use they if you don't know people. It's not hard. Yeah, exactly. Parker Posey Guffman says, I can see default male here only because it's the dumb sexist father of the bride pays. Yeah, I don't think I assumed they were a male. I assumed they were a parent, probably a female. Ray Joe says they shouldn't make you pay full price for something that you're not using. I would definitely look into that. Understand losing a deposit, but not the entire price of the thing. That doesn't make sense. I would speak to them directly if you were going through her. Said Faithlessness says there are some venues who will make you pay and try to find another paying customer for that time. Well, that's double dipping. That does not sound legal. There was an AITA pretty recently about a guy who decided to have a video game party at his venue when a similar situation happened and they wouldn't refund him. And they had a gall to get angry that they couldn't earn double by reselling the space to someone else and they only got OP's payment. He was like, either refund me or I'm going to use it however I see fit. Yeah, exactly. So it's not right, but it's also apparently not uncommon. Yeah, have a different party. Just have a different party, especially if they're going to double dip. That's horrible. Next, we have Overheard and is entitled Good Friday. Had lunch with my family and friends and overheard this. Mom, you're more than welcome to come to church with us on Good Friday. Sister, are you sure you want to be seen with your gay daughter and church mother? Mom, you are not my gay daughter. You're just my daughter, and I would never be ashamed to be seen with you anywhere. Sister, good answer, Mom. What about your dad? What about you, Dad? Dad, I can introduce you to the priest as my homosexual offering. Sister, you would do that for me? Oh, Dad, if I was straight, I would cry. That sounds like that's how you should handle that. That sounds good. Above ground pool queen is the top comment. It says parents for the win. Um, Play Secrets says it was simple, warm, and exactly right. Exactly. Uh, Let It Come Closer says the mom warmed my heart and the dad made me spit on my drink. Perfect combo. Suburb Picture says in plenty of churches, the clergy and entire congregation would be so glad you're there regardless of the identity. And Foxtrot Oscar says in quite a lot of churches, the clergy would also be gay and not give a stuff. Mediocre Cry says, and the Episcopalians have entered the chat. Uh, Oriole Wright says, and the United Methodists. Plant, Plant Hugger Paradise says, imagine having parents that roast and support you at the same time. Iconically gay. Those are good parents. Those are excellent parents. Love it. Love to see it. Very lucky to be born in that family. Tear Off My Chest says, I'm starting to regret telling the other woman's husband about her flirting with my husband. About a month ago, I found a text exchange between my husband and a colleague that sounded like a continuation of a talk they had at a work outing where she confessed that she wanted him with all her senses, but that it would never go beyond that because she loved her husband and would never hurt or disrespect him. That's weird because you just disrespected him. I confronted my husband and he said it was nothing, just a drunk conversation, and nothing has ever happened between them nor ever will. I chose to send screenshots to her husband, and from her reaction, I think they're separated and headed for divorce. Well, there you go. You just screwed up. Both of them are saying nothing's going to happen, so leave it alone. Sent me a text late last night asking if I was happy with what I did and if I could sleep well at night, and now she's free to do whatever she wants. Do you understand that I'm free to do whatever I want now? I hope you're happy. My mother said I should have never contacted her husband. Am I naive to believe nobody ever fantasized about other people other than their partners, and alcohol made her speak that fantasy out loud? My husband is very upset with me and said she didn't deserve it. He is refusing to find a new job or cut contact with her. Good for him. Magdal- Megalodon says, based on her statements, it seems like she's fully going to pursue your husband now, and it sounds like your husband is not going to take steps to prevent that from happening. I'm sorry, but I think it's best to go ahead and get out. That's just my personal opinion. Zenith answered, the other woman, pretty much admitted she would go after the husband if no guardrails, the other woman's husband. So now the woman is free. She will do whatever to seed doubt, and the husband seems to be choosing the other woman's side. If the other woman didn't want her husband to find out, maybe she shouldn't have sent a text that could be screenshotted. That's true. Other woman is looking for an excuse instead of accepting culpability. Other woman doesn't have to accept the culpability. She said she wasn't going to do anything about it. He said he wasn't going to do anything about it. Everything would have been fine. This seems like it just blew up in her face. Warm Temperature says, girlfriend, he has feelings for her, and now she's going to target him even more to ruin your already shaky marriage. If I were you, I'd prepare for divorce, and when you find out when you find out he's sleeping with her. Shiny Boat says, for real, she's going to try so hard to get OP's husband. So now OP will feel the pain she does. Shady woman stuff. Yeah. Next top rated comment is she basically said I'd wing him if I were single and you made her single. The bigger thing was that your husband's response to her when she said it. You have left out that, so I assume he just brushed it off or ignored her. So OP says he wrote nothing back. She apologized later for writing what she did, and he apologized for not stopping her when he noticed she was drunk and blurting out inner thoughts. And he apologized for what she's been through, something they probably discussed on the outing, but I don't know what it was, and he told me it wasn't my business. He ignored her. I mean, you're stupid. OP's stupid. I'm sorry. Now you got a problem. You didn't have a problem before because your husband wasn't entertaining the thought. He was not entertaining the thought. But now he is. She definitely is now. She wasn't entertaining it before either. She was drunk. Drunk thoughts s- are drunk actions are sober thoughts, but she was just so drunk thinking. I mean, you got to trust people for something instead of shooting yourself in the foot. Only thing, Punch's beard off says the only thing stopping the other one from being with your husband is his willpower to stay faithful to you. But with him being upset because you told not quitting the job and not cutting contact with the other woman, I fear his willpower isn't that strong. Yeah. You should have left that one alone, I think. It could have just like slept under the radar and never come to fruition, but now what are you gonna do? What do I do? The guy that assaulted me sent me an email at 2 a.m. I don't know why she has this as spoiled. This is OP. Before you block and delete this, I'm here to apologize to you. I had no way of getting in contact with you. I wanted to say this to you in person and in court, but the prosecutor said you couldn't handle it. But I just want to tell you how deeply sorry I am for hurting you. I know, I want you to know none of what I did is your fault and nothing you could have done or said wouldn't have made me change my mind. I never had a girlfriend or been with a woman. Girls never really gave me a chance. You were the only girl that was nice to me, and when you smiled at me, it felt genuine and not fake. I developed a crush on you, and I knew nothing would ever come of it since you were with your Brian. I hate Brian. I know he was my best friend, and I genuinely hate him. He showed me a dirty video of you at blank and blank. I was so angry when I saw that video. I didn't understand why you would do that with them, but not me. I lost respect for you and I'm ashamed to admit it, but now I believe he intentionally showed that to me. I can't express any more when I possibly could. I thought by doing what that to you, it would make me feel better, in a way punishing. I'm a sick person for doing it and I'm feeling that way. I'm deeply sorry. If you need better sleep at night, my life is terrible. My brother no longer trusts me to be around his kids, and he has stopped taking me along with him and my little brother hang out. I have no friends. My mom no longer likes to talk to me anymore. My dad beat the crap of me with a wooden plank once I got home from jail. My family is horrified by my existence, and you probably feel the same as they do. I'm going to off myself soon, and I hope that provides you some peace. Wow. Wow. That's terrible. Oops. That's terrible. SC Frogley says, let his probation officer see this. I'm pretty winging sure he's not supposed to be contacting you. 100%. Lola says, in admitting to watching CP or CSAM, OP's history claims she's a minor. I'm worried for OP and any of her guardians. Her child was fathered by a 20-year-old at the age of 14. Sorry for blasting your info, OP. Your history is open and it's irrelevant to us answering your what do I do question. Familiar Gap says OP's post history is actually some of the most depressing crap I've seen on this site. She seriously needs to stop being in a relationship with 20-plus-year-olds. She's a 14-year-old, 100%. Seems there's been several motion engagements in a marriage within the first few months. I don't know what kind of sick freaks keep taking advantage of this poor child, but they deserve to be rot in prison, every single one of them. Wow. Okay, she already sent it to the prosecutor, so that's good. So it's an ongoing trial and he's taking a plea deal. So double he shouldn't be contacting her because I'm sure he has an order against it. Wow. Let's save some of that for later because that seems interesting to me. I'm a sick person. I'm sorry. I just want to delve a little deeper. Not much. I'm not going to contact anybody or anything. Don't worry about it. Next we have entitled parents, but your daughter hit my car. Reading another entitled story about an auto accident reminded me that this happened a while ago. A few years back, I was out with my girlfriend, now wife, and a couple of friends. We played some pool and we were heading home in my car. Currently stopped in a left-hand turn. Two cars were drag racing down the street to our right, and one of the cars lost control and hit my car. The other car they were racing, of course, sped off. The girl who hit us was crying and screaming, though apparently unhurt when the cops showed up shortly, followed by her mom. The mom started cussing everyone out she could see. She turned to the cops, pointed to me, yelling as loud as she could that she could smell alcohol on my breath, and it was clearly my fault. It couldn't be your daughter's fault. It was my drunk butt who caused it. And to be fair, she was correct that I'd been drinking, but what's more important was we were stationary in a turn lane, so trying to blame us was ridiculous. Also, as per me drinking, that's why I was in the passenger seat and not driving. Cops rightfully ignored the old bat, but she kept trying with anyone who would listen. Yes, the girl's insurance paid me in full. Good. Playful profession says hopefully she got arrested for filing a false police report. I don't think that's considered a false police report at that point. I would call that um, oh shoot, something utterance, some kind of utterance, excited utterance. That's what it's called. Sumo Ninja says my uncle was sitting on a light. Guy backed out of his driveway and hits him. Guy calls the police. Officer gets to the scene and the guy runs to him and fed him a story about my uncle hitting him. Cop didn't buy it and asked my uncle's side of the story. He had heard the other guy's story, so he starts like this. I was going 40 miles per hour sideways when I see this guy pulling out of his driveway. The cars had not moved since the impact. It was not hard to figure out what happened. People suck. Yeah. Melissa's Maleficent and Skurs. I don't know. I don't understand that one. Maleficented. Oh, Maleficented curse. Your daughter was literally racing down the highway while I was stationary, you bitter old crone. It's her fault. Oh, her fault alone, and either pay with insurance or I have no problem taking you to court. And the insurance takes care of that, at least in my state. Oh, and then we have a dumb no oh no consequences. Old but gold. It says old but gold. Can't find my stuff now. Are we ready? You know what's coming.
Oh, I think I broke my jaw.
Idiot. Kids, stop doing stupid stuff. That's just theft. At the end of the day, that's just theft. Traditional fan says he deserved the wipeout. I hope the police came and scared him deeply about vandalism and theft. Team Shadowin said, I hope the staff made him clean it up. I hope they made him pay for the milk. JoJo's B says, I don't even understand what's supposed to happen. What was he trying to do? Alterous Cable Car says he was trying to be an a-hole. Goblin Obscura says, well, he succeeded. Next, I have mildly infuriating, and it's entitled, I bought my kids bikes for Christmas. Local government just passed a law requiring bikes to be licensed to ride them in public. Cops are now issuing citations even to kids. Okay, that's really weird. I'm in the US, bought these 3 basic Huffy bikes for my kids this past Christmas. from the local big box store. Got 3 of these in the mail today. When the local government apparently just passed a law requiring all bikes to have paid licenses to be ridden in public. When I called to confirm, they said cops have been issuing citations even to kids. They also said it was primarily to help with stolen bikes, but it's a plastic sticker that can be peeled off. The store apparently fills out the license application as a courtesy to customers without asking and sends the info directly to the local government. I asked what would happen if I bought the bikes out of state or if they were a gift. They said the licenses are mailed to the purchaser's address. And if out of state, the purchaser would have to transfer each license to the actual owner for the additional fee, of course. This sounds like like a money grab. I'll show you what they look like, apparently. It says $15 to have a bike. And that's the license. $15 just to have a bike, that's ridiculous. A lot of people can't pay that. OP has a pinned comment. Let's add it to aggressive questions. I'm in Hawaii, not in Honolulu, Oahu, as many Hawaii commenters have assumed. The e-bikes. I can kind of understand e-bikes. But little huffy bikes for kids? Are you kidding me? Some Hawaii commenters noted that the registration law has been around for a while. After further research, that is true. There's a general law regarding bicycle and e-bike registration, and then separate county ordinances directing how each county enforces it. 4, I just spoke with a local police officer who confirmed that the ordinances were rarely, if ever, enforced until recently, which is one of the reasons I thought it would just passed. The change is apparently due to the influx of e-bikes and recent amendments in other countries, which have spurred renewed reinforcement for all classes of bikes in all counties. Oh, counties, not e-ticket to write. His words, not mine. So you're just, it's a money grab. That's all it is. 5, one Hawaii commenter noted that retailers are required to have purchasers fill out their address for the bike registration. After some research, this is also true. However, I've bought at least 6 bikes for our family over the years, 3 from the same store, and never received a registration in the mail. This is another reason I thought the law was just passed. The person from the county confirmed that many retailers have not historically complied, and that some of the larger chains now transmit sales and purchase records electronically, which allows the county to mail the registration form directly. There are other posts describing similar events. It's weird. Somebody asked if they're in Hawaii. Somebody also says PIA. It's not. PITA. PITA. That drives me nuts. Pizza Guy says, as a kid, I read somewhere that our small town required bike licenses. My brother and I went to courthouse to get a license. The clerk was surprised as no one had ever gotten a bike license. We got license number 1 or 2 and they waived the fee. For reference, this was in Ohio. We learned later that it's more for theft tracking than it is for permission to ride a bike. Still $15. That's a $3 thing, for Pete's sake. The next is, am I overreacting? And it is entitled, am I overreacting that my boyfriend basically staged a test to see if I cheat with his cousin? No. No, don't set people up. Don't set people up. I, female 26, have been dating my boyfriend, male 29, for about a year. Everything has been normal, maybe too normal. Last weekend, he invited me to a small family hangout at his place. Nothing crazy, just food, music, and a few drinks. He mentioned his cousin would be there too, but I've never met him before. When I got there, his cousin, male 27, was weirdly attentive. Not creepily, just very intentional. Complimenting me, offering to fill my drink, sitting next to me every chance he got. At first I thought, okay, maybe he's just friendly. But then my boyfriend started disappearing, like fully vanishing into other rooms for long stretches of time. At one point, it was just me and the cousin in the living room. He turns to me and says, so, do you always go for guys like him? And I laugh it off, but he keeps pushing, saying, like, you could do better, not everything as it seems. Some men like to share. That's weird. At that point, I was uncomfortable. I texted my boyfriend asking where he was. No reply. The cousin straight up says, if you want to go do something He wouldn't tell him, right? I immediately got up and went to find my boyfriend, and guess where he was? In the hallway on his phone, right outside the door. I asked him what the hell was going on, and he just smiled and said, "Relax, I just wanted to see how you handle yourself." Handle myself? I told him that was insane and left immediately. Good for you. Good for you. Don't put up with that crap. Now he's testing me, saying I pass and that I'm very wifey material. Well, you are not husbandy material, sir. And that I was overreacted because nothing actually happened, except it did. Except it did. But I feel set up, tested, low key disrespectful, disrespected. No, high key disrespected, girl. Why am I being why am I being put in some loyalty experiment I didn't sign up for? Am I overreacting or is this as messed up as it feels? This is messed up as it feels. You know him, right? Says he doesn't trust you. That's why he had to test you. It will happen more if you stay. Blushing cutie answers, you're not overreacting. You were set up. Trust isn't a game, and you're not a prize to be tested. Exactly. Foolish pleasure says, ding, ding, ding. He failed the how to run a relationship with unforced errors test. That's a baseball reference. Second top rated comment is the Lady Penguin. NOR, and if he thinks you would cheat with some guy you just met because he stepped out of the room for a few minutes, he's going to be incredibly controlling for the rest of the relationship. Get out now. Amen. 100. Kelly Bourne, Kelly Baum says, right, that's the part that doesn't make sense. As if you're just looking for the first opportunity to jump on any dick that's available when he's gone to fill up his water bottle. Gross. Disappearing poop. This is a disappointing poop says projection, and that's what it is. They're exactly right. He's projecting. He wants to cheat. He would jump on somebody's bones if they came on to him. So get out. Get out now. Chuck says he's a creep, just saying. 100%. Server live. Guest comments on receipts. Yeah, that's nice. Oops. It says, thank you for great service. Did they leave a tip? Yeah, they left a tip. I don't know what the problem is here. Some of my friends at work don't really mind, but for me, it's always appreciated. I enjoy it, actually. What do you mean they don't really mind? Full payment says I folded up into the nice note and saved that in my server book. Oh, that's nice. Martha Washington. Martha Washington? Lady, you're old. Thought you was dead. Martha Washington says, I appreciate the notes. I bartend at an airport and take tables too. Very often people are flying because of a death in their family. It's hard to see. I've always give people grace, but especially when they're crying and trying to hide it. I drop extra napkins off for them, and if they seemingly want to talk or apologize for being a mess, I say it's not my business, but I hope that whatever's going on, it gets better. And I just hope in the time they're with me, they're able to enjoy themselves, which often leads to thank you notes. Comments on how they didn't realize they needed empathy. Happy to have the ability to tell a stranger they'll most likely never see again, etc. Hugs, hand holding, even just me putting my hand on people's shoulders goes farther than I ever imagined it could. The last lady I tried to console gave her a little shoulder pat and said, I know it sucks right now, but it won't always be like this. And she left me the most heartful note saying how she was able to focus on peace in that moment. See, it cost her nothing. That cost Martha nothing. Just to be kind to people who are going through a bad time. And sometimes people who are mean to you, that's what they need. Just saying. Next, we have Best of Redditor updates, and it is entitled AITA for throwing my kids' clothes onto the floor when they don't fold their clothes neatly. Yes, because you're probably being a jerk. This is from originally posted, Am I the A-hole? Original post, June 18th, 2020. So I've always been the kind of neat freak mom. There's your first mistake. The entire time my kids have been alive. I expect their rooms to be clean and I check their drawers closets and bin to make sure they don't just shove stuff in there to make the room appear clean. You're a jerk. You are a jerk. The kids, 16, 13, 9, and 6, are all responsible for putting away their laundry. My oldest two are responsible for folding their own clothes, which bothers me because my 13-year-old folds his own clothes in a way that bothers me. He rolls them up instead of properly folding them. Oh, I see, I'm getting mad already. Ever since the kids have been home and have more free time, I'm more strict about the way they put their clothes away. I expect their clothes to be folded in a certain way and organized in a certain way in their drawers. Lady, get over yourself. Jeez. I read from a mommy blogger a few years ago that when her kids' drawers weren't organized, she would make a mess for them to organize the right way. I considered it for a few years, but now that the kids are old enough, I think it's the way to go for us. Oh my gosh. I haven't had to do this until yesterday. I walked into my 16-year-old's room when she was FaceTiming her boyfriend, and I saw her basket of laundry that needed to be folded, and out of curiosity, opened her drawers and saw that she shoved her clothes in there. I started making a mess, and she screamed, Mom, why? I told her she knew why. Man, you sound terrible. Don't be surprised when these people don't talk to you when they're out of the house. After that, I walked out of her room. She explained to her boyfriend what I did, and he says, Your mom's winging crazy, bruh. You are. And I peek my head into her room, give her a look, and she ends the call with him and breaks down crying. I told my husband what happened, and he said, I knew you were going to do that, but I didn't know you would actually follow through. This morning, I woke up to until mom can get mental health. I'm staying with Aunt Jane. I texted her, no response. I tried texting my sister, who said she has no plans to return until I get mental help and stop being such a controlling bitch. 100%. My husband and sister and mom are all aligned against me in this, which hurts. Maybe because you're a controlling bebop. I don't think it harmed my daughter. It benefits her to stay and helps her to stay organized. At a certain time, you have to let your kids do what they're gonna do. She's 16 years old. 2 years she gonna be out of there, and she ain't never coming back, and I don't blame her. Editor's note: all OOP's comments were downvoted heavily. Deleted says YTA. There's better ways to teach your kids. Maybe read up on techniques to properly do this, but also explain you want them to learn to be neat and organized versus being, excuse me, bitchy. I feel this could have been better approached. Make amends ASAP and find better ways to get your point across. Otherwise, your kids will learn to hate you and not want to talk to you. Again, YTA. OOP, however, I don't appreciate telling her aunt I'm a bitch. Well, I mean, if the shoe fits, lady, this is not the way to do things. Like, yes, you've already taught her how to do the things. You've already taught her. I'll let her do her own thing for a while. She might go back to it. She might not. It's not that big a deal. Jeez, you gotta let people go. To a deleted commenter, she says, Of course I want her to be independent, but she needs to learn to follow directions no matter how silly she thinks she seems. No, they don't. Jackro123 says, Second, do you really not see how embarrassing that is? I'm sure if your mom pulled that same crap in front of your friends or boyfriend at that age, you'd be pissed. OOP, well, her boyfriend is like family to us and knows how I can be, so she shouldn't feel so embarrassed. If her boyfriend has to know how you are not a good thing. Madman says, YTA, take a look at yourself because I doubt this is the only thing that made her leave. You most likely have a pattern of being controlling, and this was the last straw. The way you decided to act was more akin to a child than an adult. You made a mess because you didn't get your way, and that's moronic. OP, I didn't make a mess because I didn't get my way. Yes, you did. I made a mess for her own benefit. Oh my gosh, this woman. I can't even. She's normally very organized and clean and picks up after herself, so this was abnormal to see. Because you're forcing her to, not because she wants to. Your children are going to have the worst houses, the worst clean houses, because you're doing this, and it will be their rebellion for life. um, a pillow of my eye says, YTA, your daughter's boyfriend is right. Get some therapy and figure out why it's so important for you to control unimportant minutia before it further damages your relationship with your family. OOP, I've never had any problems with my family other than this. I bet you don't. Top comment deleted YTA. You know who acts like this? Marine Corps drill instructors. Why? To mentally wang with recruits. It is not okay within the family unit. It is insane that you think this is okay to control how your kids fold their clothes in their drawers. OOP is voted YTA almost unanimously. Update post August 14, 2020, almost 2 months later. Almost 2 months ago, I made a post on here about throwing my daughter's clothes into the drawer when they weren't folded neatly. Well, that post really blew up, and people on Twitter also chimed in. Well, the night I made the post, I stood in serious denial. I replied to some comments, and my denial was perfectly clear for everyone to see. Yeah, it was. The day after I read some more comments and messages I received from everyone, I resorted to the guest room and cried for hours. I read some people tell me that their moms were similar to me and they no longer have a relationship with them. That was truly my worst fear. I seriously love my kids more than anything on this planet, and my actions don't always show it. I booked a virtual appointment with a psychologist who diagnosed me with OCD. Shocker. And let me know she would help me, but I have had about sessions with her, and she has been a big help. Of course, I still have a long way to go, but I've been noticing some improvement later. As for my daughter, she stayed at my sister's house and came home a few days after I told her there would be major improvements made in my behavior. I sat all the kids down and told them that I would have the resources to be not such an overbearing a-hole to them anymore. One thing I do want to address is the fact that I was usually controlling with my kids, but the incident I wrote about was the one that sent both me and my daughter over the edge. Me and her on much better terms, and I want to thank Reddit for waking me the hell up to become a better mom and wife. I also want to apologize to anyone who I brought back bad memories to. I want to have relationships with my children when we all grow up, and I know so many of you guys don't have that, which breaks my heart. But also, hearing your stories gave me a big change of heart and are helping me fix my relationship and become a better person. Reddit for the win! Green flags for Reddit. Delete fact says, Christ, I would have killed for my mother to face herself like that. As a grown ass adult, I can only take my trash out and clean my apartment late at night because the thought of anyone seeing I made a mess is paralyzing. When I was a kid, my mother would put my clothes and toys in garbage bags and announce how amazing it was every time I cleaned my room. Glad OP got help. I hope she sticks with it. There is hope for them. Coniferous says, ugh, this unlocked my mom's cleaning day memories. Rather than give us a list of things to do, she'd be like, vacuum the floor, so I'd do it. And then there would be a 50-50 chance she would tell me it wasn't good enough to do it again. And then there would be another task. Sometimes it was 3 things to do. Sometimes it would be the entire day. I'm convinced she did this when she was in a bad mood and wanted to wang with us or take it out on someone. That's sad. That is so sad. I had a friend whose mother sat around while she made clean the house. Well, after a while, my friend was the only kid left. We could never get out and do anything like go to the beach on a Saturday because her mother made her clean the entire house every Saturday. And she was sitting in her chair smoking the whole time. It was terrible. Joanna Southward is the second top rated comment, and they say, Jesus just unlocked a memory. My mother once screamed and yelled at me as she threw every piece of clothing in my closet to my floor. I remember cowering on the floor, terrified. My crime, not buttoning the correct buttons on the shirts I had hung up. Must be the first and third button only, you wanging idiot. I was around 7 or 8 years old. That's so sad. Burnt Toast said, wow, kindred spirit. My mom used to trash my room as she found it to be messy, and then I'd have to clean it up while crying. That is, clean up what wasn't destroyed or that she didn't already throw out. Sometimes she'd pelt me, and once when I was a teen, I saved money to buy an inflatable chair from Claire's, and I had it for only a week or so when she went into a rage and stabbed all over it so I could never use it. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Burnt Toast. No wonder you're burnt toast. I wish I could say that was the worst of it, and I wish I had a fun aunt I could have stayed with. But I was a scapegoat child, so whenever she would blow up, my entire family would tell me that I brought it upon myself. What's so messed up is that in adulthood, fear is my one true motivator. I really struggle with the internal motivation and any productivity that isn't fear based. BS Tabin said, for me, I can't imagine it's that I can't be happy getting presents. My mom always destroyed the things dearest to me. So I learned not to paint targets on them by being overly happy about them. Wow. Wow. Jaded Passion says, I vaguely remember this. OCD can be brutal, especially when it's treated as a cleaning quirk instead of a serious disorder that needs to be treated like any other disorder. I feel bad for the kids, but good OOP listened and is getting help. Things would have spiraled out of control if she had doubled down. Manny says, the other thing I noticed is the dates. The first one happened June of 2020. It's no wonder tensions were high and mental health issues might be exacerbated after the first 3 months of lockdown. Yeah, that's true. Curiously, Caddy says, yes, my OCD raged out of control at the same time to point where I was considered a health risk to myself because of the amount of bleach I was using to sterilize everything and damaging my hands. Oh, you poor thing. I still have issues using public bathrooms. I disliked using them before 2020, but now I actively have a part of my therapy that I need to use the public bathroom once a month. The whole word seems to justify every obsession and thought I had on a regular basis. Oh my goodness, I'm glad you're getting help. Lawn Mom said, I relate. I don't have OCD too badly, but the panic affected me severely, and that I ended up being diagnosed with acute OCD. I still live as if the pandemic is going on, and my behavior is much worse than the pandemic. Poison of choice was 60 to 91% alcohol, ethyl alcohol, but usually isopropyl. Isopropyl. Not so lucky as damaging, not so damaging as bleach, but I'm still worried about the long-term effects. All this to say, I wish people still washed their hands and covered their mouths like they did in the pandemic. Oh, all those poor kids. I feel so bad for all of you. Made me smile. It's called entitled Grandpa Dump. 81-year-old member becomes grandpa to the staff at his local Dunkin' after tipping $280. Attention, anyone who lets grandpa pay is terminated immediately, the management. That's how you handle that. Good manager. Green flags for the manager. Green flags for this Dunkin' manager. That's awesome. And his picture's up too. That's great. Some guy says, you know it's serious when it's laminated. Snarkomium Revolio says the relationship between coffee shops and the elderly people has always been adorable to me. My grandpa used to drop my grandma off for her weekly hair appointment and spend an hour at the Starbucks next door, so his dad pretty much adopted him. I got to hear all about the lives of these random Starbucks employees every time I called my grandpa. It was clear that having 8 new grandkids was making him so happy. I wish to this day I knew who any of them were so I could tell him how happy this made his last few years on Earth. Called me Softy says, former fast food, not coffee shop employee here. There was an ancient couple I took delight in helping, even when I despised every other customer that walked through the door. I made sure they had fresh burgers and I'd take their meals out to them. I'm pretty sure once or twice I slipped them a 10% discount too. Mike Kerman says, but the other people, bastards. All of them, bastards. Yeah, my daughter had her regulars at work that she really liked. Got to be friends with. She still goes golfing with one of them occasionally. Grand Electronics been going there for years and was enough of a regular to know that one of the staff needed help, so he did. Good guy. Good guy, Grandpa. That's so sweet. I love that. All right, that's all I have for today. I will be back tomorrow for more goodies. Maybe another episode of something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Ugh. I'll try to do a little over the weekend too. I have my other project too, though. I guess doing it in the morning is going to have to be the thing because in the afternoon, I just don't get to it. I need a break. I need a snack right now. I'm hungry. That pizza did not do it for me. I mean, it was delicious, but it just didn't. I woke up hungry though, so that might be part of the problem. All right, I will see you later. Um, have a good. I love you all. Where do I end stream? Oh, there it is. It used to be down here. Now it's up in the corner. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't do it. Bye, biddies. Bye. Love you. Bye.